Hey guys, Jacques Marceau, yes? Alright, so come on to my understandability of reformatting my TV. You listen to this little story I put together, little whopper. It's a Jacques series, right? So understandably, you got the Heathcote job. Now, understandably, at the Heathcote job, it's where it goes into it where certain guy from the Lucas Heights reactor in that the laboratory, it was bring your kid to school day, bring your kid to work day, and he started telling him about one of the operations for some of the military soldiers like Mr. Jack Blackley. Now, understand when Mr. Jack Blackley lives in artificial environment, in artificial reality, understand, for his continuation package from serving his country. He was pretty much blown to smithereens, like poor bastard. No arms, no legs, pretty much just a head in a box. Like that Dare Gorillas, to what led me on to their little understanding of certain jobs of the military. To say how it actually actuates, to why I sort of get a bit vocal on this, to sort of put a few pictures into a better perspective for certain things I think may or may not exist as I speculate my little story. As it's oh so fictitious, we wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes now, would we? We wouldn't brush anyone's nails off, would we? Anyway, back into it. So the kid's talking at Lucas Heights, right? And he's having a good old chin wag. And he's like, oh, yes, this is great. Dad's told me all about this bloody kid. In that the Landwalkers' assistants, in that to how they help Mr. Jack Blackley. And the Landwalkers, like, say, myself, say I take the position of a Landwalker. And here I am. I walk around. I just live my life, get educated, go through school and all that. But job files, you know what I mean? To stay part of the program, you got to do job files, right? So the job file is to be taken in that, dragged to the party and drugged up and then abducted into the LAN van to, fingers crossed, be rescued by military that come from Holsworthy at the same time as they scoot across through Heathcote Road. And now, understandably, the way this story formulates is where they weren't so suspecting it. It runs a whole parlay like they were going to drive their way to success with that and abduct the Landwalker. But understand, ANZAC, in that, say ANZAC, the Australian New Zealand Army Corps, for what does stand for in Australia, for why we all stand together, is like, they won't put up with this kind of stuff. Nonsense of terrorists, Middle East, little kid talking crap about stuff his dad probably made up, whether it be real or not real, who would ever know? You know what I'm saying? And when it come down to it, right, he get into it, and the LAN, because they organised it through a triad laboratory. So the triad laboratory had a mobile van pickup. Now their mobile van is like nuclear assist, where it's got nuclear generated cells to keep the gigahertz of the mind operative, like you're going to do a retractive look back on a red P-plater for his little skids in the car or whatever it may be, like playing cricket down the oval with his mates. Yeah, whoever it may be. Mr. McGrath could be anyone, who would even know? Say, when it comes down to it, right, they catch these guys that get the LAN and they catch that van, but it leads on to more stuff, mate. Because this is where they get them and they're like, right, who are you? What do you know? Interrogation 101. Interrogation 101 like Guantanamo Bay. You're getting the water treatment, right? You're getting Watergate all over you. We'll find out every single thing we need to. Now, understandably, when I look into it, it takes them all the way back to some little triad laboratory in Chinatown, where these Heathcote job members were so spun that it will just be their ducks nuts, mate. It's their milk and cookie at Christmas type situation. And long story short, they pick him up. And they're dragging this guy, right, from the party. They're like, oh, he's passed out, everyone. We'll get him out of here. Not to worry. Oh, it's nothing to worry about. And they're dragging this poor son of a bitch all the way up towards the station at Heathcote. Like, left for dead, mind you. Probably dead on arrival. As they just need a functional brain. So time is crucial on that, like to pick up and all that. And as you know, the age of technology has all started to advance. Why they wanted to start the dark web. For what we know the dark web to be now, as we cotton in and catch in like case files on a cold case look back, like Cold Case, the show Cold Case, as you know about look backs and flashbacks in time for furtherments of future. speculate in television as we do. Not trying, but shout outs aside, day oneers, Blue Healers, Mount St Thomas 213, straight up. Anyway, as I come into it, they start getting into their look back. And they start like triads, a bit like skeptic on what's going on. He's got the armed forces there, there's Air Force, there's everything. Gonna smash this guy to oblivion. Him and his master of the 5 families of Hong Kongers they thought they'd play in Australia. So long story short, Watergate's on and he's telling us all about the connections into, say, the Picton death cult of the 12 tribes. You're like, 12 tribes, what's that got to do? It's like, well, the Campbell is, say, to where it goes into that LAN, Sam. In the setup of LAN, their computer-to-computer land area on that network base to try and spread their dark web without being in an actual connection to, say, some sort of satellite or instigation of telecommunication or pickup to try and stay under the radar. They were doing that in a long time in the way of it where they'd have a dead cell computer but it would actually just flick straight onto the internet because it's already part, like, it's been altered a little bit, you know what I mean? They alter it just a little bit. Anyway, so where it says that, that's where they go to the 12 tribes, right? And because of their connection into the Campbell and the Picton death cult and the drugs, like I was telling you about in some of the earlier pieces where some of me fanatic fans, as they also hyped up for my greatness, telling me WTF, like am I okay? Like are you kidding? I'm more than okay. Anyway, as we go into it, this is where you look at their spread as they go north, south. People like that job file out of, say, the Badger State Forest there, to where they go in for their little dance folk festival, but they're all high as a kite. And that's the thing, mate, we don't really get off on that, mate. It's not really kosher in the world of the everyday Australian battling it out, paying taxes, mate. As most of these drugged out fucks couldn't hold a job if they were put in there at gunpoint. I'll say it to his goddamn face, at gunpoint. Whether I turn up there or not, with a gun, excuse my French, here I go again, getting hostile, but hey, back onto it. We get into this story, right? You're looking into it, and basically he's gone straight in on it. And the military's intercepted this van. They got the plates, they got them pulled over, they got all the stuff, right? All they needed to get was the plates. So they get in there at the same time as a Heathcote job. But it's on the Land Walker because it was dissolved by the little kid in the actual laboratory by his own father, who ran it back out to these other eshays from around the Shire, and they say merging and moving their network of dark web, as they would do drugs and copious other things, selling it through the web, as you know about certain things like that exist. And then you go into it, right? You go a bit further to where you say they're 12 tribes, but this is a thing, mate. They start making a bit of money, mate. The money, they start making it. So they think tax write-off. So they find this little church, a little like religious church of people, and no word of a lie, they let them wash the money back through their church. If they join their church, they're like, all right, guys, you're part of our network, you're part of our church. No worries, guys. We'll let you join up and we'll put your business through our church in the way of a tax write-off, and you'll get a subsidy through the gov because it's part of our church. But they're like a bogus church, like real rip-off. They're not like proper people. We don't want to get into too much with their witness factor or what they see or what they don't want to see. Oh, what they might see, you never know. Anyway, I go into it. It's just like retracting him for a red peep later or a cricket fucking whatever. Let's say come into it where it come in a bit more. And there's certain reason they sort of had to go to these triad laboratory that they were connected in the way the Heathcote job, the young'uns that were doing it, instead of being like army brats or being part connected to, say, Service Australia, they were just like mental cases in the way of it. Honest to God, they're just mental cases in the way of it, but they looked for an answer. But they never got an answer because they're literally spastic mental. But in the way of it, their actual drive continued to push where people had mastered away like an influence of understandings. But now, like the totem pole job I talk about, brain on brain on brain, like computer on computer to mimic and copy, it will never be clean of its purity because in the very beginning, like I talk about, at the day dot, like in their mind, like a brain itself, it doesn't actually have that within there. It's already jeopardized. So everyone they connect on in the way of like trying to wash away their stuff, it's forever going to be damaged. But that's how they cottoned onto it to get to the Triad laboratory. He was already bonkers. Him and his whole family, like inbred type bonkers. Anyway, that's a quick, understandable story update of where I'm at to mix it up a little bit, to get a bit more jived up, to see my ugly face, to hear me and hear me talk. A little bit different. This, I say Mr. Jack Blackley is his name for the military soldier I speak of in like a Dare Gorilla pictorial. If you see the movie or the video clip, as they pictured him as some little deadbeat who never did no harm, getting rifled by some Asian little gawk dancing around in front of him, stirring him up, and then waking him up in a bed next to him like he raped him. And it's just like goes down the newspaper like some dance, and it's like he says cannibal on his paper. Like, what have this little film clip done to me is just like set me off with my knowledge of life to just be like, I need to meet these people with my counterparts. I need to meet them like why I show my face. I need to meet them properly just to smack him in his goddamn face. Anyway, I'm Jacques Marceau. Bit of food for thought on understanding Mr. Jack Blackley in the Jacques series, and nearly 12 minutes of your time. Facebook, be social media, whatnot, be on my channel. Got a couple of people, as you know, the actor factor that goes into, say, the agent and publicist to say, might not play it here in my backyard, but like Jacques Marceau Japan, my brand, in Japan, a lot of Japanese people getting off, maybe on some of the episodes like Boosting Brett, the car racing ones, and the underground on that, or say the underground rave sitch with Ravenhawk and other episodes. It just goes on and on, mate. Like publicists and agents taking care of this. Me, big shot, big wig, speaking out the piece. They're taking care of the business, and I'm sitting back in Lux. Hey, yesterday, why I wear my shirt today? Sorry, Pakistan, 62 runs, sorry. Didn't make it, but anyway, as we watch the cricket. Anyway, Jacques Marceau, see you later.